Relationship between the intricate that you are and these precious, valuable conceptual entities that we make. What is the relationship between them? Well, crudely you can say, okay, they're an analysis, they're an aspect, they pull out useful things we make. I've said all that. But that's not adequate, because we understand ourselves not only sitting quietly saying, yeah, right, here I am. We understand ourselves very actively in language and in concepts. Language comes from where we live. It comes. It comes like sleep and emotions and tears and orgasm. It comes. Fresh language. And fresh language is really the only language that's any fun, especially if you're thinking. Fresh language is always metaphorical, but it's not metaphors in some technical sense. It's metaphorical, which is what you meant, I know. She wouldn't go for reifying metaphors, surely. And there would be much more to say about how language comes, how it is that we live in a situation, we interact with people, or we're away from people, that's still people that we're away from. We're doing something, and we need to say something. And the words come and everything's fine. But once in a while the words don't come right. Either you don't have any words, or the words come and they're not quite right, and you have to say, wait a minute, that's not what I mean. I know what I said, but it's not what I mean. And then you can really experience how out of control we are from words coming. Because when they don't come, there isn't anything we can do about it except try again. And words always come, but the right words, the words that do it justice, the words that relate language and the implicit, they don't come. Or they do come finally. And then when they come, oh yeah, that's what I meant. Of course I didn't know it in these words, I didn't know it so exactly, but these are the right words. Very much like when you remember something you forgot. You can go all afternoon saying, what was I supposed to do today? I hope nobody's waiting for me somewhere. When it comes, you may not like it, but you know it's right. You know, that's what it was. And all these other good things that you should do sometime, they're not it. This is it. Except for the fact that this language has never happened before. Even so, it feels exactly like that. It's like, now I have it. My favorite example is an unfinished poem. And I know you've all written poetry, although you might deny it. See, why is that? We are so shy about what comes from us directly. We are shy about improvising. We're shy about writing poetry. But poetry comes from where we live. And when you have a poem that's halfway working and then you can't finish it, there are any number of ways to finish it. If you have to, give somebody a poem by tonight because tomorrow's their birthday, you can finish it. But when you have a poem that isn't finished, there's nothing you can do about it. It isn't finished. And it wants something. And you might sit there and your hand might go, in a sense of one sense of no, you know what it needs. And in the other sense of no, you don't know what it needs. And when it comes, you know it. Oh yeah, this is it. And there might be many ways of saying it, but this saying is it. You see what I mean? Now for a poem, you're lucky to get one that works. Leave it alone. But in French, it would come out a little differently. And if you thought of giving it to another person, you might change it slightly. But now we need a word for that, and we don't even have a word for that. So I call it carrying forward, which is a very interesting phrase. I call it carrying forward, and I've done a lot of work on 3 or 4 philosophical notions. Why are they philosophical notions? Because they name the relationship between the implicit intricacy, I quick have to add intricacy now, the relationship between our being where the words come from, and the words. The words carry us forward. To speak is another bit of living. It's not just an aboutness that floats in aboutness heaven. It is another bit of living. And now I'm here to say that thinking is also like that. That making concepts, when we make houses or machines, we know why we're making them. We're carrying forward a certain juncture in living, which this thing that we're making is going to help us with it. And when we make concepts, which is part of making things, because we think them before we can make them, when we make concepts, we're carrying forward where we live. So, back to saying, please don't only think that way we learned in school. Stay where you live and notice how interesting even stupid thoughts get when you look at them from there. How can anybody be saying that? It's very interesting. Pretty soon you see how they might. Stay where you live and think. So carrying forward is an important concept, and I found over the years that it also works very well. Anybody who reads me uses it already.